All right, y'all. What's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99, all boxing, everything. Make sure y'all subscribe. All right, y'all. So, shout out to my man Boxing P with Loud Pack Boxing One. This is something that we were talking about the other day because, as y'all know, we got the Jab Effect together. You know, we talk boxing, the Jab podcast. We've been doing that for a few years, but we just been on a little hiatus. But we're gonna come back real soon and start, working on it. But behind the scenes, we still talk boxing. We still jump on and just talk boxing, and we talk for hours and hours about it. And one of the topics that we had talked about just a couple weeks ago was Deontay Wilder, because as y'all know, he has a fight coming up October 15th against Robert Helenius, his first fight since the third Tyson Fury fight. And we were just kind of talking about Deontay Wilder as far as, his career, how far he's come and what he's been up to now in between that layoff time. And one of the things that Boxing P brought up to me was just the attitude of Wilder. Asked me the question about Wilder as far as his approach to the fight game now. Like, has he changed? Has the Fury fights taken some of the fight out of him now, and has he changed as a fighter? Like, is he that same Wilder? Is he a new Wilder now? And to me, my thoughts on that, I think that he definitely is a different Deontay Wilder, because I just think that comes with maturity. I think that comes with growing up, especially with what he has experienced in the last 2-3 fights of his career. That definitely has made him change, for the good, but also in a way that I don't think he wanted to change, because, there was some rough and rugged fights for him, and it was just like a very, tense and competitive rivalry, right? So with him, being on the losing end of those, it kind of has changed him as a fighter, and I think has taken some of the fight out of him. But at the same time, I think with him just being a warrior and then being a man and having accomplished a lot in boxing and still having that power, I think that, he still has some fight in him. And if anything, it's going to like reignite maybe a new flame in him, hopefully, because, this is a dangerous sport and you still want to have more than enough and your killer instinct and your old ways in there to be able to survive, right? But Deontay Wilder, he's been doing a lot of different things now. He's been doing other business ventures, along with his wife, and going the music route a little bit, doing some other things to live in life. This is the first time he's really had like a break because he's been an active fighter, right? So I think that it's not just the fights, the Tyson Fury fights, that taking something out of him. I think just experiencing life right now. He hasn't really had a chance to, take his foot off the gas, but now that he's been able to kind of open his eyes and say, oh, wow, I can do this. I got the money and got the time and the talent to do different things like this, So I think just, taking a break from boxing and experiencing other things have kind of taken some of the fight out of him. It's taken that old Bomb Squad Wilder out of him for a while, because he's like, why do I always have to walk around, this loud or this brash, like the loudest man in the room, when I can, do certain things like this and still express myself, right? I can still, go off and, give back to communities, or, like I said, do music and do things this way and still be heard, even more so than when I was being loud, right? Because I can be seen as, something more with more dimension to me, right? So I think that, yeah, like those are some of the things that probably taken part of the fight out of him. But definitely, unfortunately, I think the Tyson Fury fights have taken the bomb squad out of him to a certain extent. Well, not to a certain extent. I think they did, because they were like some brutal fights in his career. They're probably like the worst beatings he's faced in his career, because remember, he's known as the one-hitter quitter, bronze bomber. He goes in there and knocks people out, knocked everybody out on his resume except Tyson Fury, knocked everybody down on his resume. 10 title defenses, and yeah, just always having that power to, just come from behind the back and just knock people out. That's always going to put a fighter in like a special realm. No matter what you say about the competition, if you can go in there and knock out a man with just one punch, that'll put you on a certain pedestal. Nobody can really stand up to that, especially, in today's heavyweight game. There was a time when he was 100% knockout, right? He had a 100% knockout rating. So looking back at that, that'll definitely put you in a certain position where you have this aura about you. Like you're knocking out men that are 6'7", 6'8", just giants, right? You can just touch their chin and put them down. So you always feel untouchable, right? You feel like this untouchable person, but along comes this fighter, with this boxing skill and this speed that you just never felt, and this jab that you never dealt with before, right? And then in the second fight, in the third fight, he's able to nullify your power and just break you down and put you in a place you've never been before. You can't help but have the fight taken out of you. You know what I mean? It's beaten out of you, right? Whether you feel like some of the tactics were legal or illegal, it takes something out of you, psychologically. Because like I said, there was a time when you had this aura, you were untouchable. Then all of a sudden your kung fu was broken. Your kung fu was broken. Your aura's destroyed because somebody's figured you out. Somebody stood up to that power that nobody else could have, right? So from then on, and you lose 2 times in a row and you still can't correct it, that's always going to that's always going to sit in the back of your mind. You're always going to think about it and say, yeah, I can knock these guys out, but what about this one guy? We had this big rivalry. We talked so much trash to each other, but I could never figure him out. I never had more than power to beat him, right? So I think that does take some of the fight out of him, or a lot of the fight out of him, because now that guy has his belt and he's considered the best heavyweight, right? Of course, you can still make money and you can still grab other belts and you can still knock other people out, but I think it'll still put you into another realm where that type of Wilder and that type of bomb squad Wilder we known is sadly a thing of the past, right? It really is, but not saying he couldn't beat all these other guys, like I said, but I think that definitely has taken that Wilder out of him, and that's kind of what we were getting at. But I think if he wants to compete in this game, he still has enough to reignite a new flame, and he still has enough to carry on another 2-3 years if that's how he feels. Of course, he still has to make sure that he's prepared. But if it's going this way instead of towards another Tyson Fury fight, if he goes to the left instead of another Tyson Fury fight to the right, he should be able to survive. He should still be able to be a solid fighter and get some more wins in there and still just add to his legacy in that manner. So I think that he's not that same Wilder, but he can still reignite a new flame, or, keep that flame burning that he has to, go in there and beat a guy like Robert Helenius. Now, Robert Helenius is not no slouch now. He ain't no slouch. He's a big heavyweight that knows Wilder. They have history. They sparred together. He's a stiff puncher, power in both hands. And, he's got weight to him too. So, if he knows how to go in there and use that weight, and he can, sneak in right hands in the pocket, and, take Wilder off balance, I mean, it could be an interesting fight. But, I think Wilder still has more than enough to go in there and, go back on his knockout mission like he used to do. You know what I mean? I think Wilder still has that. So, yeah, man, like I said, there's just a lot to talk about Deontay Wilder. It just seems like, for a lot of people, for a fighter that gets a lot of hate, he brought a lot of fire to the division. And that's something we'll talk about, I think, we come back to the Jab podcast. Like, for somebody, a lot of people who hate Deontay Wilder, they talk about his skills and his resume. They sure do talk about him, and he sure did liven up the division, because now I see some people on Twitter talking about Tyson Fury, and they don't like him as champion right now, because they don't like how he's moving. So yeah, man, I guess people don't appreciate something until it's almost gone, but I don't think Deontay Wilder's fully gone yet. Like I said, I think he has changed. The fights, Tyson Fury fights, regardless of what happened, have taken something out of him, but it's on him to rebuild, and I think he can do that. I think he can. Certain things happen in life for a reason, right? You get tore down, but you got to rebuild, right? So, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. All boxing, everything. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.